Alright guys, we're working at an angle here, so things will look a little wonky. This is for BPRD, Shadow of the Golden Crane, number 1. You would have seen Susan already. Did a lot of these other characters here before. I wanted to save Hellboy for you guys, so you just see what we're doing. He is tricky. I think I'm going to ink his hand and mostly pen because of the rock, that rock feel. I've been studying how Hellboy's hand works and the shape of his head for a while now. It's always a challenge. I like the pen to be a little wobbly, a little shaky. And it kind of feels like the aesthetic to the way Mike goes about the fists and stuff. It's tricky. I think I still need to study this for a while. Figure out the mechanics of this hand. For me, Hellboy has that Bart Simpson effect. You know, like, if you're not drawing him in just the right kind of proportions, like, your style can vary, you know, but, like, it has to be the right proportions or it doesn't feel like Hellboy to me. Like, Matt Smith and Duncan Federico draw a very different Hellboy from each other, but they have that thing that makes it feel like classic Hellboy. I don't know the term. Real Hellboy. I don't know. And I like other interpretations too. It's just, and actually a lot of other artists hit that same feel for me, where it still feels like Hellboy. But you know, it takes some adjusting to when it just doesn't feel. I don't know how to put it into words. I mean, so much of Mike's work and his creations are like that. There's this sort of enigmatic effect to them, you know. It's hard to put your finger on. Even for a fanboy like me who's been studying his work forever. It's funny, he was actually in the very first book that made me want to become a comic book artist. And that was X-Men Annual 9, where he did some inking along with, I think, Al Milgrom and Terry Austin, I think. But he was just an inker in it. But, yeah, that book made me want to be a comic book artist, which is really fun because I'm, like, friends with Mignola and Art Adams now, which is crazy. Yeah, that book meant a lot. X-Men Annual 9, and then, of course, the New Mutants Annual 2, all the Asgardian Wars stuff. Like, it just set my world on fire. It's going to be a white background, so a lot of these characters are going to... They don't need highlights or anything, because the black will carry it through. I really work these pencils a lot. I did a digital sketch first, and then I blew it up after we chose the one, and then just a lot of futzing around to get the proportions right, especially on Hellboy's head. would have been boring to watch, but it's just a lot of fixing little stuff here and there. Just get everything just right. And then when I go into my inks, I try and keep things loose. I let mistakes happen. I let things be sloppy. If I tighten things up too much, if I try too hard, I will. It'll get all stiff and boring. So I do all the hard work in the pencils, and then the inks, I just try and keep it loose and, yeah. This will make more sense. I'm going to actually fill in the blacks on this so you guys can really see everything. Think details on Hellboy's face. I'm going to do a pen, Pigment Micron 01. One thing that took me forever to figure out about Hellboy's face is how short his nose is. And that along his forehead here, none of his wrinkles are at a 45-degree angle. Everything is just up and down, if there are any. I'm actually going to go back over this line work here with a brush, but I'm going to want some of it to feel like a pen. Alright, I think the rest of this is going to be brush. And it's funny, I specifically am trying to use a lot of brush on Hellboy because, Mike is such an influence in my work. There's sometimes where I use a lot of pen, and the more pen I use, the more it feels like Mike's work. But I know Mike doesn't hire people, to ape his style. He wants their artists to bring their own thing. So I'm being conscious to not go too crazy with my influences. One of the big differences between working analog and digital is you can leave these microscopic, teeny tiny breaks in the inks that just add to the form a lot, that won't show up when you drop a black bucket like you do digitally. So I often find it just gives it so much more life. But sometimes I don't have time. Sometimes you just got to move quick. Deadlines and all that kind of stuff. So in those cases, drop a black bucket in there. This book is going to be part digital, part analog. All the pages with Hellboy on it are going to be analog. touch this shading up a little bit with the pen, probably. I mean, in digital, I'm going to probably touch this up here. Like, I want this to be more flat here because it looks rounded instead of having like these flat edges to his fist. It's a little odd. I might end up filling this all in black, actually. Yeah, I'm going to wait to see if this might be too much. I'm not sure. Actually, I feel like this needs to go. It almost makes his fist look like it's shiny. All right. This stuff gets fun here, like the jacket and stuff. You can just be more free. A little less worried about details here. Just let the brush sort of do the job. I just gotta watch out for these. A few of these spots are still wet, so I gotta be careful. It's partially why I wear a glove. It keeps me from smearing as much. Often what will happen is it will my glove will absorb the ink and smear a lot less than what it would have if I end up smearing. Another trick I do is when I'm using my brush, sometimes I'm letting it be very loose and brushy. Other times I'm thinking of it like a pen where it's got these sharp edges. As you saw when I inked it, it was like quick turns and stuff. So it feels somewhere in between like a brush and a pen, and it just gives it texture and attitude. I don't know. A little bit of rendering. I don't do too much rendering as I used to back in the day. I'm not sure what that's about. Less is more and all that, I guess. Alright, here we go with the horns. My ink here is getting a little too thick. It's getting pretty dry. It's near the end of the bottle, so I think that tends to happen. It sort of congeals. Okay. This little head up here is going to end up being black. Little Short head, pointy top. Just a little bit of a point. Sideburns and face can be tricky too. And like I think his ears are pointy, like not incredibly pointy, just a little pointy, just a little bit. I think. That's the tricky part. His mouth is tricky because, especially at certain angles, it's just end up look like he's got a goofy smile. I think this is working out. Trying to decide. Yeah, I don't think I need to. I was gonna fill this was gonna be black, but I think this is looking good like this. Happy with this, how this is turning out. I don't dislike everything that I do at all, but I'm like definitely a harsh judge about my own work. So when something is working out, it feels good. Like most of my work, when I'm done, I'm going, okay, yeah, okay. Every now and then I'm like, that's pretty good. Sometimes I'm like, this is barely acceptable. Unfortunately, when it's barely acceptable, I don't notice that until afterwards. Like at the time, I'm like, okay, this is all right. And then I'll come back to it and I'm like, ugh, so embarrassing. That went to print, ugh. Not too often. I mean, actually, that doesn't really happen much at all anymore, but it definitely happened more in the past. keep blowing on it so that helps the ink dry faster, obviously. Hellboy's biker pants. So I tried this kind of combination with these thick brush lines and then these very thin monochromatic lines, kind of like Mike does. But yeah, balancing them out with the thicker brush lines as well. Oh, do I have this backwards? I gotta find some. There'll be a Hellboy book in reach somewhere. Let's see. What is that? All right. Trying to see what side of his jacket those buttons are on. Okay, yeah. It's the left side. Okay, I got it right. One of the things that really helped me figure out how to draw Hellboy in a way that I'm happy with is the statue. I'm forgetting the guy's name, but it's like Hellboy under a tree. And like in this amazing way, it almost looks like this sort of like low poly printout because of like of all the edges and sharpness on the Hellboy figure. Foibles, is that? I believe that's what it looks like, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And that guy is amazing as a sculpturist, and it is by far my favorite Hellboy statues. And yeah, it helped me figure out some details on Hellboy's outfit. I'm really going to have to look out for that spot over there because I laid down the ink here kind of thick. So I should be careful that I don't smear ink. I don't like the angle that that's at. Let's try it like this. That's better. Okay. Actually, I have an idea. I wait for that ink to dry. That's good enough, I think. Just want to see what this looks like. Yeah, Yeah, it feels right. It feels right. All right, let's do it. Nope, I shouldn't have done it. I don't know. I don't know. I can't figure it out. We it's just some little, just add some details here. Alright, getting close to finishing up Hellboy. I see something here. Alright, I think this is basically it for now. I don't know what other touch-ups I want to do, other than probably we need to see the rest of that arm that I covered. I don't think I'll need any more like rendering on here. I kind of want to do something in here, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I gotta do the buttons on that side. Yeah, I'll do some little details. There's going to be some other details here and there. But this is basically it. Let me pull this out. Does that go sideways? I can't tell. There we go. Yeah, I think this works. Well, thank you for hanging out and watching this and stuff, and I hope you're enjoying the series, or you will enjoy the series when it comes out, and yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys.